Every civilization gets stale, man. We're lucky. Lucky we've got scientists who can still pump preservatives into our lives and lifestyles. The trouble with academics and intellectuals is that they will never come to terms with how dumb all of us are.
They are the problem. They are the dumb ones. That's why all this talk about privilege disturbs me. It's an evolved pronouncement that needs to be explained. The United States is a culture of sweat, of scratch and claw.
That's preposterous. When I'm told I have an unfair advantage, I want to even the playing field. I want parity, because I want competition, and I want to win. And I want to win fairly.
That's an easy thing for you to say. You're comfortable, or I should say, you are confident that whatever is done to even the playing field, whether or not you're directly involved in moving the fulcrum, you will retain your class prerogatives.
That's bullshit. I am willing to sacrifice much.
Maybe, but I have a difficult time believing you. I think a lot of people who are privileged hear that and think, that means you're going to take something away from me.
Selfish assholes.
I wish I saw it that way. I don't. When I picture this man of privilege, I think, here is a man who looks in the mirror and sees a failure, a loser, somebody who never measured up. The man of privilege hears that he has privilege, but, upon reflection, he sees nothing like that. He feels nothing like that. He sees miles of debt. He sees a job where he does not get ahead. He sees a belly full of disillusionment and regret. He sees exhaustion and despair. None of it is going away. So he focuses on distraction. Did you see those Yankees yesterday? I went skiing this weekend. What I wouldn't give for an egg McMuffin.
So if that is the reflection he sees, and he doesn't measure up, so what? He had all the breaks. Stand aside.
In a best-case scenario, he is introspective. This is where privilege has gotten me. Where am I going to be without it?
My friend, you need to preserve hope.
That is me at my most hopeful. I think, for the majority, there won't be much rumination upon the subject. I anticipate a mostly knee-jerk reaction, and the reaction is, fuck that, and fuck you.
Some will, doubtless, deny it and resist it. Others will acknowledge it and act.
Yes, the young and childless will acknowledge it and act, but then 2 decades later, they'll be fighting against it. It's all fine and good for someone to act like sacrifice and magnanimousness are synonymous, but they are going to get older, and they're going to make babies. And once they make babies, all bets are off. You will do anything within the letter of the law to ensure that your baby is provided every advantage to be successful, or, at least, to be more successful than you are. If your kid stands to inherit anything, whether it's a house, or a car, or $1 million, or privilege, you will fight for it.
I am moral and ethical, but there is always room for improvement in me. In a capitalist culture, one cannot afford to lose anything. This is why you are morally obligated to be generous and charitable.
Let's have this conversation again. If and after you have children.
Why? So what if I have children and buck this trend you're manufacturing? Even then, you'll say, there are exceptions to the rule, and you, Pepper, are one of them.
That's true. That's exactly what I would say.
Well, you need to buck up and get your shit together, Perry. It's reckless to ignore the incremental gains. It's naive and myopic to be fatalistic.
Hey, I support every motion to promote equality in all people, to eliminate institutional racism, to overcome institutional privilege. I stand by my progressive stripes.
That's not enough. You need to embrace positivity, be an ambassador of optimism.
I could never do that. I can't carry signs or brandish bumper stickers anymore.
Well, at a minimum, don't gloss over the facts. Slavery was abolished in 1863. The Civil Rights Act was passed in 1964. It was only 100 years ago, in 1920, that women were afforded the right to vote. And in 2003, sexual acts between persons of the same sex were legalized across the land, and not just in some states.
So that's 4 accomplishments in the span of 150 years. Color me rigid for not being a paragon of optimism.
How about the fact that we've reached a point where it's not unusual to ask people which gender pronoun they prefer? That is a social achievement.
That may be commonplace here, but I don't know that that is happening in the States.
It's happening there too. The kids today are incredibly liberal and accepting, and unlike those of us from Generation X, there are a lot of them.
Don't get me started on Generation X. Our generation has been such a disappointment.
You know what I wonder after all of our conversations, Perry?
The truth is, I'm not sure I want to know.
I wonder if bitterness and ineffectuality are synonyms.